Okay, so the beginning of the pattern says just to cast on 20 stitches. So I've already cast on my 20 stitches here on my size 9 double needles. You can use any needles, it doesn't matter. Just happened to have a pair of these that didn't have a project on them. And then the first line of the pattern says to knit 8. So simply going to knit my first 8 stitches. I can do it without splitting the yarn. Okay. And I use this light blue yarn to try to make it easier to see what I'm doing. Hopefully it shows up well enough in the video. Now, if you've never done short rows before, I think this is the part that's confusing everyone, is that after you knit your 8 stitches, you don't complete the rest of the row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See if I can knit and talk at the same time. You want to knit the first 8, and then as the pattern says, you turn. So that means you take your work and instead of completing the other 12 stitches, you go ahead and turn it around as if you're through with that row. And then you're going to knit back across those 8 stitches you just knit. And that is a short row. And it's what's going to make the scarf ruffle instead of just being a regular flat row, is when you build up the short rows on top of each other. So I'm knitting back across the first 8, and then at the end I will just turn again, like I'm at the end of, whoops, like I'm at the end of a regular row. Okay, so you'll see I have just that short little row without these other stitches. They haven't been knit on at all. So I'm going to turn, and then the pattern is to knit 6. So this time I will do another short row, but it's going to be even shorter. Only going to be 6 stitches. A very slow knitter, so bear with me. It's probably why my scarves aren't actually done yet. They're getting there though. So I knit another 6 stitches into those 8 that I did on the last row, and then I'm going to turn and knit back across those 6. So you kind of end up building up a little triangle of stitches, is really what you're doing on just one side of your 20 total stitches. So I'm going to knit back across those 6, and then I will turn it as if it's just a normal row, and the next direction is to knit 4. So very short row. 2, 3, 4, and then without going across the other stitches, I'm going to turn around and knit back across those 4 that I just knit. And that is actually the end of a set. So after you do the 4 and you knit 4 back, that is when on the next row you're going to knit across the entire 20 stitches. So then you can go over and work on the other side of your work and make another little triangle. So I just knit back on the 4. I'm going to knit all the way across. And then I will start the set all over again. So as you go with the first set, you're actually going to be knitting across stitches that haven't even been knit into yet, that are left over from when you cast on. Which I always try to cast on loosely, but I'm really bad at it, so mine are always very tight. But as you get, it takes several sets, probably a good 6 inches into the scarf, before you're going to see it start to ruffle and turn. So don't get discouraged if it looks kind of funky there, the first bit of the scarf. I promise it really does start to ruffle. I have way too tight stitches. Okay, so I've knit across the full 20, and that's when you just start the set over again. So after I knit that 20, then I'm on the other end of the stitches, and I'm going to start over with knit 8. So I will knit 8 on this side, and then I will turn and knit 8 back, and knit 6, and knit 6 back, and knit 4, and knit 4 back. And then I will knit all the way across the 20 again, and I'll be back on the other side but I'll have another triangle. So you just keep going back and forth. It actually ends up being 2 sides of ruffles connected through the center. So you're working both sides of the work alternately with each set. I hope that clarifies some. Anyone that still has questions, please let me know. I love having people learn how to knit the scarf and see how easy it is, even though the directions are sometimes misleading. Thanks!